Hey there, and welcome. No matter where you are, whether you're easing out of a long, busy day or simply seeking a bit of calm, you found the perfect place to rest. Take a breath, settle in, and know that this moment is just for you. Let the outside world grow quiet and allow your body to melt gently into stillness. Tonight, I'll be rambling about a haunted seaside town from the 17th century. Once overtaken by the Black Death, the ghost town of Poveglia Island now lies still, dormant, only inhabited by the wandering souls trapped there from long ago. We will discuss what truly happened all those centuries ago, and the paranormal activities that linger there to this day. But before we begin, I'd really love to know, what time is it for you, and where are you listening from? It's always a quiet joy to see the cozy corners of the world you're tuning in from. Now, go ahead and dim the lights, let the quiet deepen around you, and join me as we explore this haunted town. There is an island, not far from the edge of Venice. It does not rise sharply. It does not shine. It drifts low on the water like a forgotten breath, wrapped in tangled vines and washed in quiet fog. Its name is Poveglia. No one lives there now. The trees lean softly over crumbled walls. The air carries a smell of old brick, damp earth, and time. Boats pass by at a careful distance. Locals speak little about it. It is not marked as dangerous, but no one calls it safe. The island has long been used, long been filled, and long been emptied again. This earth carries layers of memory. The oldest stories are told through numbers. During the years of plague, tens of thousands were brought to Poveglia. Some were sick, others were suspected. Most did not return. Bodies were burned in the open, in deep pits dug into soft ground. Ash drifted down for weeks. Fires were slow and warm and final. Later, the island held the broken and the weary. A hospital was built to treat the troubled mind. It held them for a time, then let them fade. Now only the wind walks freely. Many who have stepped onto the island, whether invited or not, have spoken of something different in the air. Not a voice, not a shape, just a feeling that waits at the edge of thought. They describe it as being followed gently from behind, or touched lightly by something not seen. One traveler said the silence of the island was louder than a crowd, that even the leaves refused to move unless watched, that the trees seemed to listen, and the sky above looked away. Some report that the island does not greet them at all. Instead, it studies them, it lets them walk, and it lets them know they are not alone. There are sounds often reported. Some are subtle, others clearer. The most common is a soft murmuring, like words whispered underwater. It is rarely direct. It flows in and out with the wind. Visitors standing near the remains of the hospital have said they hear low conversations, though no one is near. When they try to listen more closely, the sound falls away. Others have heard crying, not sharp or panicked, but steady, like someone remembering something they cannot change. It comes from corners and stairwells, even when the rooms are broken open to the sky. Often, the sound is described as coming from above, though many of the ceilings are gone. Footsteps have been reported with frequency, always light, always slow, a clear pattern of movement like pacing, often heard across floorboards that no longer exist. Some say the steps are bare, while others hear the tap of worn heels. The sound comes from empty rooms, often stopping just before it reaches the doorway. In one documented case, a visitor set down an audio recorder inside the old medical wing. The group left it running overnight. Upon playback, several sets of steps could be heard walking in deliberate patterns, despite no one being present on the island during that time. There is a persistent account of a woman in hospital garments, seen walking near the southern wall of the facility. She is described as slow and silent. Her face is not clear, and her posture does not change. She moves in a line, often from the garden wall to the collapsed stairwell. Then she vanishes. She is not seen every day, nor every month. But when she is, the air grows cold enough to turn breath into mist, even in summer. Some believe she was a patient who died during surgery. Others think she is someone who came to the island searching for family and never left. Electronics often malfunction near the bell tower. Many who have tried to document their visit find that batteries drain quickly. Cameras stop recording. Devices freeze without warning. One group of researchers reported that their fully charged thermal scanner failed to power on, despite working just hours earlier on the mainland. When they left the island, it functioned normally again. Some believe this disruption is not from the environment, but from the energy of the island itself. A kind of resistance, a refusal to be captured. There are reports of shapes in windows, not dramatic, not vivid, just faint outlines. They appear in the upper frames of the hospital building, often after dark. Witnesses say the figures do not move. They stand still, tall and narrow, some with heads slightly turned. In several cases, photographs taken from the water have shown vague forms that were not visible to the naked eye at the time. When examined later, faint human contours appear behind the glass. No living person had been inside. Animals behave differently on Poveglia. Dogs, in particular, are known to resist. Those brought to the island often refuse to walk forward. They press against their owners. They lie down and tremble. Some whimper, some growl at empty spaces. One boat captain noted that his dog would not even look toward the island once they neared its edge. No cats have been observed staying on the island for long. Birds seem to avoid nesting near the buildings. Insects are rare near the center. The bell tower, once part of the church and later the asylum, is perhaps the most discussed part of the island. Though its bell was removed long ago, travelers frequently report hearing it ring. The sound is soft, dull, not bright like a ceremonial bell. It is often described as distant, like a memory being replayed. It rings once, then again, then fades. The rhythm changes. Sometimes it rings only once, hours after dusk. No logical cause has been found. Some of the most chilling reports involve touch. Visitors have described feeling light taps on their shoulder when alone. Others report a brush along the arm, like a sleeve sliding past. A few have felt a gentle pressure against their back, as if being urged forward. One guest, walking through a hallway of the remaining ward, felt something tug softly at the hem of her coat. No one was near. The contact is not violent. It is not painful. It is simply there, then gone. The air itself has been described as different. Many describe it as heavy, but not choking. It clings to the body like damp wool. Others feel warmth in cold rooms, or chill in areas touched by light. In some areas, People report sudden changes in temperature within seconds. A cold breath across the skin. A warm pulse through the chest. One psychic who visited the island said it felt as if the buildings were exhaling around her. That the ground did not like to be walked on. That the walls had not forgotten. In the early 20th century, the island was given another purpose. A new kind of patient was brought across the water. Those who had been forgotten. Those whose minds wandered. Those who cried too often or not at all. The hospital was built to treat them, though many say it was never meant to heal. The asylum's halls were long, with arched corridors and narrow beds. The windows were small, the light dim. The staff did not stay long. The patients stayed longer. Some say they were not treated. They were managed, watched, contained. Reports from that time speak of confusion and fear. Some patients wrote about figures they saw outside their windows at night. Others complained of voices whispering through walls. A few scratched symbols into the stone beside their beds. Most of those markings are still there. There is one name that often returns in the telling of Poveglia. He is remembered only as the doctor. His real name has been lost, but what he left behind has not. He arrived in the 1930s. He believed he could cure madness. He performed crude operations using metal tools and little care. Lobotomies were done without consent, without precision. He said he was helping. His patients did not speak. Some say he began to hear things. Late in the evening, when others had gone, he walked the halls alone. He murmured to people who were not there. He laughed when no one spoke. Visitors today say the upper floors of the hospital feel different from the rest. Heavier, tighter. The air is thick as if the walls are closer. It is difficult to breathe there. Some who reach the third floor turn around quickly. Not out of fear, but from something quieter. Something they cannot name. The doctor's end came at the top of the bell tower. He climbed it, either to escape what followed him or to join it. It is said that he fell, or jumped, or was pushed. Witnesses at the time say he survived the drop, broken but alive. He whispered about a shape that rose from the ground and took the breath from his lungs. He died soon after with his eyes still open. The bell tower no longer holds a bell, yet it is still heard. Travelers who pass by at night have reported hearing the soft echo of a bell that tolls once, then waits. Sometimes twice. The sound does not echo like metal. It thuds low and heavy as if made of stone. Those who try to record it find only silence. The bell rings only for those who do not ask. A pair of kayakers who came near the shore during a cloudy afternoon said they heard the bell as they neared the island's edge. They looked toward the tower and saw something move behind the window. It was tall and it stood still. The sound came again. They did not stay. There are often accounts of eyes in the trees. These are not full figures, not ghosts that stand or reach, just eyes. They reflect light when there is no sun. They do not blink. They appear low to the ground or high near branches. Often they are seen in pairs, sometimes alone. One researcher walking the garden path at dusk said he felt pulled toward a cluster of trees near the back wall. He saw two small glowing spots, round and soft like amber. They faded when he raised his flashlight but returned when he turned away. He did not continue walking. Others have seen these reflections from the water. They float just above the line of the shore. They vanish when watched and reappear when ignored. There are frequent reports of soft movement in the infirmary where records show the most patients died. These movements come without footsteps. They are more like fabric brushing against doorways or long coats dragging across tile. Visitors describe the sound as something gliding, like someone in slippers that never lift. One visitor left a handheld recorder near an old patient cot. The device captured low breathing for several minutes, even though the room was empty. No breeze, no animals, just breath that came in steady, careful waves. There are also touch reports, most gentle but often uninvited. Many who stand in the center courtyard speak of something brushing against their back. Not sharp, not heavy, a soft pull at their clothing, a tap on the shoulder. Some feel fingers near the base of the neck or cool palms pressing lightly against the spine. One man reported feeling a presence beside him for almost an hour. He was filming alone. He said it stayed to his left the entire time. When he turned to speak, it disappeared. His footage cut out 3 times during that hour, though the device had full power. Glowing shapes in the windows had been noted again and again. They do not move much. They remain near the upper floors. They are described as pale gray, fate-like fog inside glass. Most appear tall, though not clear enough to define. Some have been seen raising a hand, but only in stillness. They do not wave. They do not call. They stand like statues in the frame of night. A photographer who took images from a nearby dock found that several of her pictures included shapes not seen in person. One photo showed a silhouette in a 3rd-floor window with what looked like light coming from inside the room. The building had no power. Children's voices have also been reported, high in light carried by wind, often heard near the remains of the old ward where younger patients were once kept. The sounds are not laughter. They are short words or fragments. Some say they hear the words stop repeated softly. Others say they hear a humming, simple and slow, like a lullaby remembered wrong. One group recorded what sounded like counting. The numbers came in a small voice. 1, 2, 3. Then nothing. Then 1 again. Fishermen have told stories passed down through families. Some say that pulling nets near Poveglia brings back more than fish. They speak of bones caught in the rope, skulls small as children's or long like deer, though too human in shape. Most throw them back without a word. Others describe hearing sounds when anchored nearby. Gentle splashing like something wading through the water, though the surface stays smooth. One man reported hearing a lullaby just after sunset. He did not recognize the melody. He turned his boat away and never returned. The island is not loud. Its hauntings are quiet, patient. Most do not scream or shout. They wait in the corners. They breathe through cracked walls. They live in reflection, in sound, in the back of the mind when all else is still. Some who walk through the tall grass near the hospital report seeing small white fragments at their feet. At first, they think it is stone, but it is not. It is too curved, too clean. Piece of skull, perhaps. A tooth, a part of someone who never left. In recent years, reports have continued. A man who visited alone to document the outer ruins claimed he heard footsteps following him around the building. He turned often. No one was there. He recorded the sound on a handheld microphone. When played back, the sound was not just footsteps. It was breathing, close to the mic, soft, like someone leaning over his shoulder. He did not finish his project. He did not release the footage. A pair of drone operators attempting to film the island from above found their equipment repeatedly failed. Their signal dropped as soon as the drone passed the inner wall. Each time, the device would fall from the air. One drone was recovered with its video corrupted, showing only static. Another captured 5 seconds of footage. A slow tilt toward the hospital window, where a figure can be seen standing in stillness, pale and featureless. They have not returned. There are reports of disorientation when walking the island. One woman said she became lost while moving from one building to another. Though she had studied the layout beforehand, she found herself returning again and again to the same archway, though she had taken different paths. She said the air changed there. The light dimmed. Her watch stopped ticking for several minutes, and when it resumed, she had no memory of what had passed. She was escorted out by boat and has refused to speak further. Those who have entered the underground tunnels, now flooded and cracked, describe a sharp drop in temperature. Some say the water glows faintly. Others report the sound of whispers in the walls, as if voices were caught inside the stone. One explorer emerged shivering, though the day was warm. He spoke of seeing hands reach from the water, not grasping, just rising gently before sinking again. He no longer speaks about the experience. His footage was never shared. The bridge connecting the two halves of the island is often described in reports. Crossing it feels different than the rest of the island. Some describe it as crossing into something deeper. The light dims slightly. The wind slows. Birds do not fly over this part. One traveler said the bridge felt longer than it should have, that her steps did not echo properly, that halfway across, she could hear a child humming behind her. There was no one there. She turned back without crossing. Apparitions have been seen near the edge of the island at dusk. They appear as dark figures, sometimes only waist-high, sometimes tall and unmoving. Most are seen from the water. They stand at the shore and watch. They do not wave. They do not follow. They wait until the boat moves away, then vanish behind the trees. Some claim the figures are still wearing plague masks, long, curved, bird-like beaks used centuries ago by doctors who treated the sick. Others say the shapes are too blurred to tell, but their posture remains the same, upright, quiet, watching. The fog near Poveglia is different. It rolls across the water more slowly than elsewhere. Sometimes it seems to lift straight upward, like breath from the sea. Boat captains who have passed by describe it as pressing against their hull, as if trying to come aboard. Many will not ferry guests to the island, no matter how much is offered. One captain said the fog whispered to him through the radio, a low voice, not angry, not rushed, just words he could not understand. He turned his boat and left. He has not gone near it since. At night, the island seems to glow in places, pale shapes between trees, flickers of light in window frames. Many believe these are echoes, not spirits, but energy repeating itself, a loop of pain, of memory, of voices left behind without anyone to listen. One group brought heat sensors. Inside the old dining hall, they found areas of warmth where no sunlight reached. The readings were human-shaped, standing in corners, sitting on broken benches. The group stood very still. The sensors flickered, then turned off. The shapes did not return. The final kind of encounter is the one that happens after leaving. Visitors often describe dreams, soft and clear. The dreams are usually of the island, but different, brighter. The rooms are whole. The sky is clean, and yet they feel uncomfortable. In each dream, someone is watching, a person just out of view, sometimes from the hallway, sometimes from behind a wall. In many dreams, visitors hear their name spoken gently. They wake up with that word still in their mind, though no one else had spoken it. One man dreamed of the same corridor for 5 nights after returning home. Each night he walked further. On the 6th, he chose not to sleep. There are no confirmed deaths from recent visits, no missing persons reports connected to the island, and yet the stories do not stop. Those who have walked its paths say the feeling is not evil. It is not cruel. It is simply full. The island is full of things that have not gone, sounds that have not faded, faces that have not forgotten. Poveglia is a place of pause, place that holds. Whether the island is truly haunted, or whether it simply carries the weight of centuries, remains uncertain. But what is clear again and again is that those who visit do not forget, and many do not return.